Well, welcome, Jack. Welcome to the podcast.
Glad to be here.
We're gonna play a game starting out. It's called Get to Know Jack. Don't look at my questions.
Okay, my bad.
For all of you that are watching the podcast, this is Jack. He's our pastoral resident. But before we get into all of the stuff that, how you got here and what you're all about, I just want to give people a chance to get to know you, okay? So just simple questions and answers. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Oh.
If you choose Pepsi, that's heresy. That's...
Did you ever go to a restaurant and you're like, I'll have a Diet Coke? You're like, Diet Pepsi? You're like, no.
And then it ruins your entire meal?
Yes.
100%.
Okay. M&M's or Reese's?
I'm going to go Reese's. I'm a big peanut butter guy.
Okay.
Big peanut butter guy.
Comics or cartoons?
Cartoons. I don't like reading.
You're an anime guy, I feel.
I am a big anime guy.
Anime guy.
The reading. I say the reading I don't like doing, but I watch a lot of subbed anime, which involves me reading the entire...
Irony is what they call that.
It is.
I don't want to read.
I like the moving picture.
Yeah. Okay, cake or pie?
I'm going to go specifically pie, but only for key lime pie.
Oh, okay. So if you had some kind of cake, but it was like weird blueberry pie, you would go cake.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Who likes DC?
So
nobody.
Okay, the DC TV shows are good. The movies are terrible.
Oh,
Marvel does pretty well. Marvel's pretty well rounded.
They do.
Minus
good.
the newer TV shows; those are kind of not great.
I feel like they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel for some of these shows.
They really are. The new Guardians of the Galaxy movie is very good.
Spoiler alerts! Don't say anything.
No spoilers.
I haven't seen it
I'm just
yet.
saying it's very good.
I'm not going to cry.
It's,
Apparently, there's some scene in the movie. Anyway, okay, mountains or beach?
Mountains. I hate sand more than anything in this world.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Of course.
I was Team Android actually for a while, for a very long time.
Sometimes gamers, I know you're a gamer, sometimes gamers go Android because they're PC based guys.
I wasn't PC until recently. I just liked Android for the custom. I want to say the customization.
Yeah.
But I think I just wanted to say I didn't like iPhone.
And also because people like Androids because they stop working all the time.
Yeah, I had to replace my phone like once a year.
Okay, baseball or football?
Baseball.
Burgers or pizza?
Pizza.
Rock music or country music?
Rock.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, snacking. Cheez-Its or potato chips?
Ooh. Are we just going like normal potato chips?
Pick whatever
like Lay's?
potato chips you like.
I'm going Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its always win. Perfect road trip snack food, if you ask me.
Perfect road trip snack?
No, I'm saying Cheez-Its are.
Oh, okay.
I got a couple more of these. Okay. Chick-fil-A or Popeyes? Careful now, you're in Florida.
Yes. Okay. Specifically, I'm choosing Popeyes if I want their chicken sandwich. Anything else, I'm going Chick-fil-A.
Jack has all these sort of disclaimers. Well, if it's going to be this, okay. Let's see. Thin crust or deep dish pizza?
Okay, we need a clarification on what kind of deep dish.
Chicago deep dish.
Chicago deep dish. That's a hard one.
Oh, I thought you would for sure go to deep dish because you're from Chicago.
Okay, I love it. It's great. It's a tourist pizza. Most of the time, if you're from the Chicagoland area, you're going for thin crust.
Okay, so it's like deep dish is associated with Chicago, but Chicagoans don't really eat it because
it's more of a special occasion kind of pizza. You can't. It's like I can have pizza pretty often. I can't do deep dish as much as I would be able to do normal pizza.
Well, deep dish is like a pie. So you said you only liked key lime pie.
I don't. Deep dish is not pie, but that's a. I don't want to get into that one.
Well, that brings me to my segue here. So, Jack Anderson, pastoral resident, you're from Chicago.
Yep.
And full disclosure, you're also my daughter's fiance.
This is correct.
Soon to be my son-in-law.
Yes.
Okay, so just keep that out of the way in case anybody's wondering. But interesting, I am interested to see how you got here, because one interesting thing that I've come to know about you is you didn't really grow up in a Christian family per se, didn't grow up in the church. So how did you come to know the Lord? Tell me that story, because I think people would be curious about that.
Yeah. So you could very well say growing up, like sports was in that spot that God is in my life now. I grew up playing sports year round. That was what all my time went to, that besides school. Baseball, basketball, volleyball, soccer. I was doing something at any time of the year. And that's actually how that got me to my first school, which was Cincinnati Christian University. They offered me a quite nice baseball scholarship to go there. And it was either that or a junior college. And from the get-go, I was like, I'm not going to a junior college. I want to stay at a school for 4 years, which is ironic. That'll be brought up later, though.
Yeah. So you, not really a Christian upbringing, but this school that's a Christian school offers you a scholarship. So you're like, well, I want to play baseball, so I'll go check out this school.
Exactly.
The baseball was what led you there, not the Christian part of it.
That is correct.
Okay. But then, as you sort of teased in this conversation, something happened with CCU.
Yeah.
So they kind of, tell me about it.
Yeah. Funny enough, CCU, that's where I found Christ. That's where I became a Christian. I got baptized while I was there. I got switched over to a ministry degree. But halfway through my sophomore year, December, the school closed, officially shut its doors, doesn't exist anymore.
Wow.
Last day was my birthday. Great birthday present.
Terrible, yeah.
I like to say that CCU was more prepared than anyone else for COVID.
Because they shut down completely.
Yep. But yeah, that came out of the blue. Like, we got an email in the middle of dinner, late October, saying, we hope this email finds you well. We will be closing our doors in December.
Wow.
So we were given about a month and a half to go find a new school.
Wow. Well, truthfully, a lot of schools struggled and closed down. I mean, I'm sure that school probably had other problems leading up to that, but a lot of schools did close down because of COVID.
Yeah.
So then that led you to Johnson University, which is obviously where you met my daughter Sophie. But what was that transition like? Because I'd imagine that's sort of difficult. You've got this baseball scholarship, and then you go to a whole nother school. Did the scholarship transfer over, or what happened there?
So it didn't transfer, but I didn't really want a scholarship going into my next school, because after I graduated high school, my senior year, that same summer before I came to college, I tore my rotator cuff, and I got it repaired, came back, was out my entire freshman year with recovering from that injury. Then I got to Johnson, and my shoulder never felt the same afterwards, so I didn't want to go to a school where I was like, in order to go to this school, I need the money to play baseball. So I didn't know if my shoulder was going to be able to keep up.
Right.
Which was the right call, because I tore the rotator cuff again.
Oh, wow.
3 weeks into
Well, especially because you're a pitcher, so that's,
Yeah.
it's not like you're playing first base or something.
No.
You have to throw, 80 pitches a game or whatever.
Yeah, I needed that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to find a school that didn't actually give me a scholarship, but I could still play baseball at. And Johnson, at the time, didn't give athletic scholarships. So it was
So is this 2021 then, or something like that?
This is right before COVID. This is January of 2020.
Oh, okay. So COVID, January of 2020. Okay, so CCU closed technically at the end of
19.
20. Okay, I got
Yep.
you. I got you. So COVID just didn't drive CCU to close.
That was financial.
That was financial. Okay, gotcha. So you're at Johnson and you've gotten saved. What was it that brought you to this decision to accept Christ?
It was the friends that I met at CCU. Did we disclose that CCU is Cincinnati Christian University?
Yeah, we've been saying it.
Okay.
We started out saying Cincinnati Christian University.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
But I met some amazing friends there.
Okay.
That were very much like, we want to tell you about this, but we're not going to force anything on you. And I think that was the key.
Right.
It was a lot of like at my own pace, like when I am comfortable. Given it helped that I had to take Bible classes at CCU, so I was learning anyway.
Right.
But the big driving factor were some of my friends who are still a huge factor in my life.
Right.
A few of them are two of them are my groomsmen. They're
in the wedding, yeah.
In the wedding, their wives are also some of my best friends in the world. So like, they're still a massive impact in my life. But that's really what got me. And then I did camps. I did Christian camps and CIYs the summer after my freshman year.
Okay.
And I think that also played a big factor. That was more of the, like, me knowing I want to go into ministry.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to say my friends really leading me to Christ is what got me.
That's an important thing to remember because, we can invite people to church, which is a good thing.
Yep.
We can invite people to youth group. That's a good thing. But the impact that you have on a friend in terms of your faith, that's the number one thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
You've probably heard that before, like you're the only Bible some people will ever read. So that's a good thing to remind, teens today. So you're there at Johnson, you're working on a ministry degree. What's the exact degree?
Preaching and youth ministry.
Okay. And the idea was, just for those people that are listening that might not know, is you graduated December of last year.
Yes.
And you're out there looking for a job. And even though we said, it'd be difficult to hire you here since you're going to be related to me eventually.
Yeah.
That's probably a little conflict of interest. You could do an unpaid pastoral resident while you're looking for, a ministry job.
Correct.
In this area, potentially, or somewhere else. How has the experience of being a pastoral resident been so far? Like, what's your impression of the people here at the church, of the ministry, the job? Like, what are some of the ups and downs?
Yeah. I think the biggest down is not being able to stay here. Because I've gained a lot of very good relationships. I've really enjoyed being able to lead the youth group, lead the teens.
Yeah.
These past, what has it been, 3.5 months now?
Yeah, 3 or 4 months, yeah.
But like, they accepted me the second I got in here.
Mm-hmm.
Not only like did the youth group, like being the main group, but that's what I work with. That's the one I see every week. But like the entire congregation has really accepted me. But it's been awesome. I've been able to learn a lot. It's been a lot easier than I expected. I think mostly because of how accepting and welcoming and the youth group and the congregation are. They just want to see really anyone that comes, like that's on staff, maybe that comes as an intern or a pastoral resident in the future. They just wanted to see them succeed. Yeah,
I think that's true of our group. We've got a good group. I don't know. I've been to other churches. I started myself in youth ministry, and I went through a couple places where it felt like the youth group's job, as they saw it, was to destroy whoever came in. It was like, we will break you. But this is a great group. So you found them to be pretty accepting.
It's actually really funny that you say that, because like the ongoing joke has been like, we ran the last guy out within like weeks.
I don't know who that would be.
I don't know
no,
either.
I don't think that's true, but okay.
That's their recollection. I'm not. I also can't say anything.
I can't even think who the Latin. I don't even know.
Well,
it was Matt. Matt, who's really technically you work for Matt.
Yeah, I do.
As the family, he's the family pastor, so you're under him. So I don't know. Maybe they're just saying that to try to scare you.
I have no idea. It obviously hasn't worked.
They're not running you out.
No, they
like you. They want you to stay.
They really want me to stay, which is extremely encouraging.
Yeah, that's
also
good.
Very sad.
Well, as I understand it, it looks like, and I'm going to get into all of your personal business, but so far you haven't been able to find something. You've been working, you've done some interviews, but nothing's happened. It is interesting. It's challenging to find a ministry job. I've told you this before. I did a bunch of different part-time ministries for 15 years before I really sort of found my spot. And sometimes that's kind of what God does to get you, you need these skills, and then you need these ones, and then these skills, and you learn this, and then you put that all together, and you find something. So maybe that's the case. Either way, though, good chance you could be around here longer, even if it's just in a volunteer capacity.
Yeah.
What would you be like if you could sort of write the perfect script on what you find yourself in? What would that role look like? What would that be?
Honestly, a pretty similar situation here. It's I don't think personally, I know a lot about family ministry because that's what is taught a lot at Johnson. That is the figure they're pushing on youth men and children's men, which I am 100% there for, because you've seen it, Matt has seen it, a lot of siloing at churches between children's ministry goes off, youth ministry goes off.
Siloing, you're saying. Explain that in case people don't know what you're talking about.
So it's the thought of like everyone is in their own spot. They don't mix.
You go
Like,
into the church and the kids go that way and the teens go that way and the grown-ups go that way. They're in their own silos.
Let's go drop off the kids.
Right.
Hey, you go to youth group. You go hang out with the youth group. Hey, we're gonna go. I hate this term of big church.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Because it's like anyone is welcome. Like we call it big. Like churches call it big church because of how siloed it has become.
Big church is like the main auditorium service. That's big church.
Which
grown
is
up church is what they mean.
Yeah. Such a weird concept. But like I want to be in a family ministry setting. And maybe like there's someone above me, like the case it is Matt, but like being able to like work with that and like maybe as well as a children's pastor, like where everyone is like working together super close to be able to make every transition smooth, whether that's children's ministry to youth ministry. Yeah. I've been trying to get to know a ton of the kids. Yeah. There's a few kids that are coming into the youth group this summer that I've been like, hey, we have this coming. We have this going on at the beginning of the summer. We have this going on. Like, we love you.
Well, that's a tough transition if you think about it. So if you're a fifth grader, you've always been in elementary school. You're in, junior church or whatever they call it, right? And then you're gonna all of a sudden come into youth group, which could have at some events all the way up to high school seniors. Yeah. So suddenly you're like this 11, 12-year-old, and there could be an 18-year-old in there. That's
it's intimidating.
Yeah, that's intimidating. Yeah,
but it's been like making sure like they know they're welcome has been big. But like getting that transition comfortable, and then like the biggest transition, in my opinion, that churches really, I'm gonna say, fumble the bag on, is the transition from high school on.